Hey friend, what's up? Today I'd like to go over the August 12th balance blog in detail. We can cover balances and changes, and I can give you, I guess, my take on what I think is going to be OP and what's not. Let's take a look. So Chiroptic Hemovore stats changed from 4-1 to 3-2. So doesn't get play at all. It's 3 mana, 4-1, dies to just about everything. Yeah, so wasn't good. As a 3-2, I mean, you're still doing damage face, you're healing your god. It's another, maybe it gets play. I don't think it'll be meta, but it's definitely better than it was before. So Pact Fiend, kind of similar. I believe it's a death card only. Stats change from 6-1 to 5-2. So roar change, deal 2 damage to your god, deal 3 damage. So it has the same stat line, right? You're losing 1 attack and gaining an extra health. So it's not changing from 7 stats. It won't die to god powers anymore, which is nice. You take 1 more damage, and it does lose an attack, so I don't think this gets played. Soldier of Tartus. So I was running a meme Chosen One deck for a while, just on ladder because it's fun, and I think that's important. They added Frontline to it at one point, I think the last patch, and this time they give it an extra health, which is really good, but I believe it's 5 mana, so it's still... it is. Right. So Echo, Frontline, Roar, give +1/+2 to the Chosen One, and move it 3 places higher in your deck. So it has an Echo, which is really good, right? So you really, for 6 mana, you're giving your Chosen One +2/+4, and moving it 6 cards closer. The extra health is huge. From a 2/3 to a 2/4, no longer dies to Blight Bomb, so it's out of the range of 1 mana spells, which is nice, but it still dies to Starshard, Bolt, Canopy Barrage, and it is 5 mana. If Chosen One ever becomes a thing, I can see this getting played, but Chosen One isn't a thing, so I don't know if it's going to get played, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. Asenath, Hand of the Pharaohs, let's see, from a 4/4 to a 4/5. Okay, so backline ability, summon a 1 mana Nubian from your void and give it deadly. That's actually pretty substantial. That 1 extra hit point, right? So like not gonna die to Starshard Bolt, not gonna die to Canopy Barrage, and won't die to Size of the Harvest anymore. Yeah, so I mean that's pretty good stat line. It can't attack, but it does summon a Nubian from your void, and you get to choose which one, which is nice. So if you have a Blitz, Vile Reaver, right, you summon that and give it deadly. I kind of like that. It's not a huge buff, but it's substantial, right? From 4 to 5 health is pretty big. It'll stay alive for at least 1 more turn. So Remnis, Unscrupulous Mage, text. Change text from Frontline Roar, summon a random 9 mana creature for both players, to Frontline. At the end of each player's turn, they summon a random 9 mana creature. So that's a huge buff, right? The card was meme, didn't get much play, because it's not... I mean, like, you don't want to summon your opponent a 9 mana creature, right? Because you play it, you summon yourself a 9 mana creature, and you summon them a 9 mana creature, so yours, unless it has Blitz or God Blitz, can't do anything. They start their turn, they have thing, right, that they can do stuff with. So with the new text line, keeps the front line, which is good, but it also gives you a 9 mana creature that can't attack, right, unless it has Blitz, and then it gives them one on their turn, so they can't attack with it regardless if it has Blitz or not, which I think is important. Like, that's a huge buff. I still think it's bad. It's definitely a meme. It's a meme card for sure, but it's not. I don't think it's playable, but that's it. That's a big buff. So changes: Homeguard Protector and Echo. Exchange from Echo Protected to Echo Frontline. Like, I'm so happy with this change. So for 2 mana you get a 1/2. Then for 1 mana you get the Echo of a 1/1, and they both have Protected. So like playing nature into it in particular was just really hard to deal with because your creatures for the most part are confused. And so like being able to go wide and be protected it's hard to consistently remove the board, and light has so many buffs. It's I'm happy with it. I think Protected right, it has Frontline, so it still has like a pretty decent stat line, and like you can maybe play around with it differently. Like you go wide on 5, you still kind of play around Shape Blast because those will have Frontline, and for the most part the other lower cost creatures in light not. but losing the Protect attack is huge, because Protect is really good. Yeah, so I'm happy with that. I think Light, at least Zoo Light, can kind of get tuned down a bit. Armory Heist, I think this one's a tiny bit crazy. This is going to be really hard for Relic War to deal with. I mean, there are so many relics in the game right now, and there are a lot of decks that rely on relics, like Skull Scepter, Necroscepter, pretty much all the relics in Relic War, Palace Wand. Yeah, so relics are good. We like our relics. I mean, Lysander Spear is kind of coming back. Anyway, so completely rework the card, right? Change text from give +2 strength to each of your creatures to give -2 strength to your enemy's creatures, right? That was the old text too. Pull the strongest relic from your opponent's deck to your hand. So, Counterfeit is 3 mana, and your opponent has to play their relic, and then you play Counterfeit, and then you take it. I think that is completely crazy. Tenderizer is dead, right? There's no way you're running any relic over 4 mana at this point. I think would be a mistake, right? Because for 2 mana, not only do they take it from you, right, but they equip it. So unless you're hard mulliganing to get your really expensive relics in your starting hand, so they can't take it on turn 1 pip, right? I mean, right? Like you do that, right? You're playing Relic War, turn 1 pip, right? Armory Heist, you get the strongest relic in their deck equipped to your hand. That's a 4-cost relic, right? That's Size of the Harvest or Devour Blade, depending on the budget of the deck. But I mean, or Palace Wand, right? Like as long as it's in their deck, you're gonna get it. That's crazy. I think that is way overtuned. I think that should be, because not only are you taking something away from your opponent, but you're equipping it. Like if it pulled it to your hand, that would be different. But I think it needs to be at least 4 mana, right? Penumbra Howler. This has been a nightmare for a lot of people to deal with. It is a 2/1 wolf. You need 2 wild creatures, and it gives all of your wild creatures +1 strength. And so it was super easy for nature to curve out. By turn 2, have 3 creatures, 2 of them are buffed. And if you don't have like the answers, it just gets worse, because then they like Wildfire, right? Trial the Hydra. So it was really easy for nature to snowball. That being said, nature didn't feel like the strongest list. Anyway, let's check it out. So mana cost, stats, text change mana cost from 1 to 2, which is nice. Change stats from 2/1 to 2/2. Exchange. Okay, so if you control 2 or more other wild creatures, give them +1 strength. The Roar, if you control 2 or more other wild creatures, add a 1 mana 2/1 eagle to your hand. I think that's kind of, it's definitely a change. I don't know if it's a nerf, but I don't think it will be as good, right? Like being able to like play Marshwalker or Beetle, and then your turn 2 play Penumbra Howler, then you have, yeah, I mean you get 4 extra stats on the board. No, you get 5 extra stats for 1 mana. This you just get 2 stats for 2. Yeah, so I think it's a nerf. Singsong Satyr text changed. Right, from Roar, get +1 strength to a friendly creature. 2 at the start of your turn. At the start of your opponent's turn, their god goes to sleep. Singsong Satyr. I like that they're going with the names, like even Homeguard Protector, right? It has protected now. Singsong Satyr. Sounds like a sleepy thing. Okay, their god goes to sleep. So this is anti-Relic War. So it's still a wild 3/3, which is good. Loses the attack buff. So it's like they want me to play Control Nature. I think I'm gonna have to. That's actually pretty good. It's interesting. It's an interesting tech card. Right, Deception has Solemn Lecturer, I think, and it's a 4 mana 4/3, and you can put something to sleep, right? On Roar. You can put the god to sleep, you can put a creature to sleep, where this is every single turn, so if they can't deal with it, like if you get this behind a front line, they have a relic equipped, like the relic is pretty much dead. I think it's interesting. I like that. It's like a new mechanic-ish. And it's neat that they're giving nature sleep. Okay, Dralamar, Breaker of Crystals. Okay. Exchange, mana cost, change 7 to 6. Already terrifying. Okay. Change text from after you play a spell, refresh mana equals base cost, to after you play a spell, refresh mana equals to mana cost. Oh man. Dralamar is dead. Now, it refreshes the mana cost of the spell. So if you set a spell to 0, you get 0 mana back. So you have to play Dralamar, right? You either ramp all the way to 9. Right. So you either ramp to 9 very quickly, and then you play Dralamar, and you can do your combo and win the game that way. Okay, Dralamar is going to have just a lot of ramp now, I guess. But it already had ramp and draw. I don't know. Maybe it's just something you put in your ramp magic deck. That's interesting. Okay, interesting. I think Drummer's dead. I think the old combo is dead. That's a pretty big hit. This is just like a slightly more expensive Archimea, where Archimea is 5 mana, and it refreshes 1 mana, right? You play a spell that costs 3 or less, so I guess you have to run both of them. You have to get them both on the board. It's too much work. I think just ramp magic is fine. So Mountain Watcher, text change. Change text from Empower 3, give +3/+2 to this creature, to Empower 1. After your opponent draws a card, gain +1/+1. That's interesting. Let's take a look at the base stats. I think I know what this card is. Mountain Watcher. Okay, so 3 mana. So for 6 mana, it used to come down as a 7/5, which isn't the best stat line. It's not terrible. You don't die to Canopy Barrage by 6 mana. Okay, and so it's changing from that to Empower 1. So for 4 mana, comes down as a 5/4. And scales every time your opponent draws a card. So into card draw magic. So it still dies to Star Shard Bolt, right? Assuming you're playing card draw magic. But if it doesn't, right, and they start drawing, or if you're playing like Board Wipe Death, they have a Scarab on the board, you play this, kill Scarab, gets 6 stats before your opponent starts their turn. That's pretty crazy. But it is 3 mana, so it does die to Curse of Greed. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't think it's going to be played a whole bunch unless there's some new draw mechanics, because War doesn't have any like draw your opponent cards, like nothing as far as I know. So it comes down as a 5/4, which for 4 mana, a decent stat line. But if it were a 4/5, it would be so much better. Okay, so Barkskin Warrior. So yeah. I don't think that comes into the meta. Maybe, I don't think so. Okay, Barkskin Warrior, text change, stat changed. Change stats from a 1/4 to a 2/4. That's pretty huge, so double the attack. Change text from regen 1, after this creature survives damage, heal it for 1, to regen 1. After this creature survives damage, deal the same amount of damage to your opponent's god. Whoa. I believe it's an Amazon. It's an Amazon. Whoa. Okay. That could be pretty good. Like, for instance, you have this on the board and you're able to stick a Mordo's Daughter after. So you play this on turn 3, it doesn't die. You pip out Mordo's Daughter. Mordo's Daughter, I believe, buffs it like a 4/3 or something. So it's gonna have 5/7 worth of stats. And if you start trading with it, all damage it takes is going to go back to the god, which is crazy. And if you stick Archimonian Onslaught onto it, yeah, you're going to be able to clear the board as well as just do so much damage. So there are meme dreams that can be done, and I'm going to make it a point to do them. So Prayer of the Desperate. Thank you. I appreciate you for this, devs. Thank you. Okay, Spread Desperate, change text, mana cost changed. Change cost from 5 to 1. Oh god. Change text, give +2/+2, right, to each creature. That's the old one. To heal your god for 4 and give it protection. The light already has a 1 mana heal card that heals your creatures for 3, all of them, and heals your god for 3, and draws you a card. So you heal just your god for 4, and you give it protected. Don't know. Okay, if it were heal your god for 4, give it protected and ward, that could be really strong. I don't think that's enough. Prayer of the Desperate is now a garbage card. That's fine. Warrant Issuer, text change, mana cost changed. Okay, so it's reduced by 1. Change mana cost from 5 to 4. Okay. Change text from at the end of your turn, summon a 1/1 Theric Militant. Power 3, summon a copy of this creature. Right. So, and power 1. So, playing it for 5 mana, increase the mana cost of a creature in your opponent's hand by 2, up to a maximum of 9. So, you get to see the creatures in your opponent's hand, which is nice. It's a stat line. So, it's a 4 mana 4/5, which isn't terrible. And you can push a creature back 2 turns. So, this is going to be really good against Demogorgon, Elna, or even like you can push a 4 cost to 6 that pushes it back 4 turns. That's a lot. Yeah, that's actually I could see this getting played. Like if you pip it out on 3, and then like your opponent has like a turn 4, like you can put a Highborn Knight to 6 mana. I mean, I could see it being pretty useful. Okay, so Lady Whispers, text change, roar, give +1/+1 to this creature for each other friendly creature from another domain. Okay, neutral creatures have no domain. Give +1/+1 to this creature for each other. Okay, so that I assume that you have on the board. It doesn't really specify. After you summon a creature from another domain, draw a card. I think that might be better. So let's check out her stat line. 4 mana 4/4. Okay, so right, that's pretty standard 4-drop. 3 mana 3/3, 4 mana 4/4, 5 mana 5/5. Right, that's like 6 mana 6/6. Pretty basic. Okay. Anytime you play a creature from another domain, you draw a card. It's interesting. I don't know if it's meta. Deception has some pretty good 4-drops. Like Loking Disciple is really good right now. That's a core legendary. It whatever it attacks goes to sleep, right? So if you attack the enemy god and you're playing Relic War, you put it to sleep, which is really helpful in the current meta because Relic War is really good. So Cadence of the Infinite Sand, text change, change text from ability, unlock a mana lock, refresh 9 mana, draw a card, and creatures gain God Blitz and Twin Strike. I tried to make it work. It was a bit me. A healing elite was just better, right? It's like I could play this thing that doesn't really do anything, and if it doesn't die, I can do stuff next turn. It's like, or, right, that just dies to Hunting Trap, so no ward, no protected. Like, or I can just play a healing elite. Doesn't die to Hunting Trap, even if you can break the protected, and then I can just Metamorphosis it, right, if it's about to die. 2, can't attack. Okay, so still can't attack. At the end of your turn, shuffle the strongest enemy creature into your opponent's deck, and pull the strongest friendly creature in your void to the board. That's good. That is really good. I get an 8 mana 9/9, right? I get an 8 mana 9/9 plus my strongest creature from the void, whether that was a Demogorgon or maybe a City Planner or even a Guild Enforcer. Like, those are all right. I'm happy with all those on top of my 9/9. But more importantly, I take your healing elite and I shuffle it back into your deck. I don't put it to your hand. It doesn't go to the bottom of the deck, but it takes it away. So like, you have to kill this, or I'm gonna get, it's just value. I get value every turn, and I remove value from you every turn. That's good. That is good. Yeah, interesting. And it's neutral, so anyone can play it. I think this may be one of the better legendaries now. Okay, Blizzard Bolt, text change. Change text from deal 3 damage to deal 3 damage to a creature. and put it to sleep. Change text from deal 3 damage, so you could do 3 damage to creature or god, right? Unspecific 3 damage, to deal 3 damage to a creature. The only creature damage, but it goes to sleep. So that's really good, right? Like if you're playing control magic, it's the stall card, so it's kind of like Sleep Dart, but you do immediate damage. I wonder how that works with Ward, right? Because Ward blocks sleep and it blocks damage. I wonder if it blocks both. I know Sleep Dart blocks the sleep, but the burn goes through. Because it's... Okay, but you have to deal the damage. It deals damage and it puts it to sleep. So I don't know. That's interesting. But regardless, like, that's really good, right? Control magic, so you have a demo on the board. You Blizzard Bolt, it falls asleep. Your demo does 3 damage and you heal 3 on top of, right? Or it just stalls for a turn, right? I like it. Serris, Arbiter of the Trial. So text changed, mana cost change mana cost from 5 to 6, so it's more expensive. That seems like a nerf. And then change text after you play a card with Echo, refresh 1 mana. That wasn't very great. Do while this creature is in your hand, its mana cost 6 minus each point of health your god has lost below 10. Roar, set your god's health to 10. Super situational. I don't like that, right? I think taking away 2/3 of your health, like worst case, it's pretty bad. I'm gonna, like it costs more, and now it murders you. So, I'm gonna go with I will probably not be playing that in my decks. Nerfs. I think this one was supposed to be down here, but maybe it's fine. So Metamorphosis, thank you for not, right? Like if you want to play more mag and then use Metamorphosis on it, you have to save your pip, right? You're gonna have to play more mag at 8, then you're gonna have to pip to 2 mana because it is now 2, and then you can win the game that way. But you don't just get it for free. So Metamorphosis at 2, thank you. That's so much better. I think that's great. I still think Delve is really strong, but I think it's a step in the right direction. Like it's so easy to just win off of that, right? So good, awesome. So Line of the Sand, text change. Text change: give each enemy creature can't attack for 1 turn. To give each enemy creature can't attack gods for 1 turn. That's great, right? So if you have a bunch of large creatures, you can at least deal with the board, right? And that's important. I like this nerf. It's not like just murder the card, but it's like make it slightly more reasonable, right? Like sleep plus, like your creatures do nothing and there's nothing you can do about it. Seemed a bit strong. So the fact that they can interact with the board still is good. I think that's good. I like that. Yeah, well balanced team. So Aethersnap's mana cost increase, change mana from 3 to 4. So this is just like another... it's like twisting the knife. The Dralamar combo deck. Which is fine. It was a bit toxic, I guess. But this is a pretty big nerf because Aethersnaps no longer are reduced to 0 by Aetherfox. So brutal. That's actually really brutal. That's a big hit. So Ludian Thespian, text changed from Echo, Tempt Fate, Roar. This used to be +3 strength. Let's keep that in mind. It was +2 for the friendly creature. Now it's Echo, Tempt Fate, Roar, give +1 strength. Let's look at Ludian Thespian. It's 4 mana. That's a lot to only give 1 strength. I don't think the card really gets played anymore. That's a huge nerf. Yeah, I think that's good. I like it. I think there were some pretty... like, this is dead, right? I think this is a dead card. Cadence, this is good. This is dead. Penumbra Desperate's dead. Dralamar's dead. Penumbra Howler, I don't know. I don't know if that gets played. Like, for instance, War, Field Maiden is a 2-mana Viking. that you play, it's a 2/2, right? And you automatically summon another 1/1. Where this is literally the same mana cost, right? It's 2 mana, and you get a 2/2, but you have a prerequisite to get something in your hand. That's kind of hard to set up, especially if you're behind. So I'd go so far as to say that's probably dead. But yeah, interesting. I like the changes. Thanks, team. Keep up the good work. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you. Please like and subscribe.